Hello! You got me just leaning over there to talk on my laptop. Hello, boom, I'm back. Hello. I come to you today with a special video because, as people who play Gran Turismo will know, the FIA GT Championship has finished. The Manufacturers Series and the Nations Cup have both finished. They're done. Whoever's won has won. I can't remember who. But we are now at the season break. The new season starts in a few weeks' time, and during the last few weeks I have managed to reach a fairly decent stage in my Gran Turismo career. I am now an A-rated driver. I do occasionally go back down to B-rated, but then I go back up to A again. So I'm sort of there on the fringes of being a professional esports driver. And I've been thinking very hard about how I take this further. And how I'm going to take this further now is I'm going to spend a lot more effort on two things. First and foremost is the racing. We can't really let the racing go. The racing has to be good. You know, it has to be entertaining, it has to be fast, clean and fun. I'm still sticking by my mantra, win, lose or both. It is really fun when you win. It's not so fun when you lose, but quite often you win and lose simultaneously, and it can happen, and it does happen, because there's always more than one way to win in any race, and it's not always the person who finishes first. That's just as well, because that's very rarely me. So anyway, what I am going to do this year, I say this year, it's actually this 6 months, this season, is I'm going to compete at a professional level in every FIA Manufacturers Cup race. And when I say at a professional level, I'm not just going to randomly log in and decide, oh, let's do a race. I'm going to spend the whole week practicing for each race. I'm then going to do every race on the night that that race goes live. And we've got our first viewer. Hello, thanks for joining. There's no racing today, stay with me, but there's no racing, not yet. You have to wait, because it's an important announcement. So, as I was saying, I'm going to put in a lot of practice on these FIA GT Sport events, and I'm going to take them really seriously. I haven't decided what team I'm going to represent for the next season, and just to show you how seriously I'm taking this, I'm actually going to spend the next week driving the vast majority of the top cars from last season on a wide selection of tracks, in a wide selection of scenarios, and I'm going to decide myself which car I'm going to take. I'm not going to go on some forum and just find out, Google fastest car in GT Sport, because you might find that the fastest car is a car that only works if you're Michael Schumacher, although that's maybe a bad idea to say that, maybe that would be a wheelchair. You know, there's no point in taking the car that all of the pros are using, because I'm not a pro. I'm not far off, but I'm not a pro. So I'm going to take the car that suits me best. And now, that's the first thing that I'm going to do. The second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lot more effort into this YouTube channel. I've already made the first step. I've upgraded my internet, and I'm now coming to you in 1080p at 60 frames per second. I can't do anything about the poor quality of this PSVR camera. It really wasn't designed for live streaming, but the PS5 is coming out soon. Hopefully they'll replace the camera with a better model. If they do that, I'll buy one, and if they don't, then the backup option, and this is going to be very expensive for me, but it's a commitment that I think is worthwhile, and that is if the PS5 turns out to be a flop and the camera's no good and the live streaming's no better, then I'm going to buy a capture card for my desktop. I'm going to relocate this steering wheel upstairs. There'll be no more sofa. The sofa's going anyway, but there will be no more sofa. There will be a proper bucket seat behind me with a nice big Lewis Hamilton flag or something behind me. I'm sorry I support Hamilton, please don't unsubscribe. You know, I'm basically going to take this a little more seriously with my setup. I've been watching videos from some of the pro YouTubers. I've been looking at what equipment they use. So if I do go down that route, I will buy a capture card so that you can see things without any lag. The PlayStation is responsible, I think, for most of the lag that you're seeing on my videos. If it goes pixelated, it's actually, I don't think at this stage, my internet. It's just a combination of the PS camera being a bit dodgy and the PlayStation itself not really being good at encoding on the fly. I think that's the main thing, is it's just trying to encode on the fly. I may also just try to downgrade my graphics down to 1080p, because I game in 4K HDR. I may take the hit because I think it's again putting too much stress through the GPU of the PlayStation 4 Pro. But anyway, technical details aside, what you need to know: faster, more effort, better YouTube channel. And that's not coming, because I'm going to offer local businesses around me and small businesses that I know from friends and family the opportunity to have a free sponsorship slot on my race cars. Now, if you've watched previous videos, you'll see that the car that I use is fairly, the liveries that I use are fairly random in a lot of these races. I usually just pick the one with the funniest livery, or the stupidest looking anime girl, or the pinkest car. I just pick silly things. But for the FIA Manufacturers Series, things are a little different, because most people in those series tend to be racing just with the default liveries, the stock liveries. And I've decided that I'm not going to do that. I am going to create my own win, lose or both livery. I can already tell you it's going to be black and dark purple. Those are my colours. Those have always been my racing colours. But rather than potter around in a blank car, I want to do something that hands things back to all of the businesses that have stayed strong during COVID. So if you've got a local business, and I say local, I'm broadcasting to the internet here, and I'm using the phrase local, but I don't care how big or small your business is. If you want a free slot on my car, completely free of charge, I mean, it's not worth anything. I'm giving away something that is worthless for free. I'm perfectly aware of that. I have like 12 subscribers at the moment, so your logo isn't going to be viewed by many people. It's going to be viewed by more people in the races than people who are actually watching this. So I'm aware of that, but bear in mind, I will keep to my word, and I will keep those logos on my car for the whole season. I might have to shuffle them around a bit, but I will keep them on the car pretty much for the whole season. I won't remove any once they're on. And by the end of the season, who knows? I could have 1,000 viewers, I could have 2,000, I could have 13, who knows? But join me for the ride and let me give something back. What I stand to gain from it as well, so I do stand to gain something from it. There's two things that I want to gain from this, from having your logo on my car. The first is that if I'm trying to appeal to pro esport teams to take my career further, we're talking the likes of Williams F1 Esports, Redline Racing, all of the Veloce Esports, all of the big names in esports, I think they might take me a little bit more seriously if they can see that I've got real businesses behind me on my car. Even though they've not paid any money to be there, it's still just a sign that you're professional and that you're willing to take it that bit more seriously than having a cartoon girl on the side of your car, which I'll probably have on there anyway, because let's be honest, the car's not going to be full right straight away. So yeah, that's that. And the other thing that I stand to gain, so I would request that if anyone does get their logo on the car, to please follow my esports career. It doesn't cost you anything just to subscribe to the channel, and you don't have to watch every race live. Just subscribe and drop in every now and again just to see how you're doing, because we're a team. We're a team. Your logo's out there. It may be on the podium. It may be going around at the front of the pack, By the way, not just the car, but there's also my race suit as well, my virtual race suit, which at the moment is just a knockoff of Sebastian Vettel's race suit, because I like putting Sebastian Vettel in funny poses. I'm just a bit of a child, but yes, I'll be going to a blank race suit as well. Yes, if you want to sponsor the car, just inbox me either on YouTube, or if you know me in real life, just connect to me on Facebook. Just say, I'll sponsor you. All I need is your logo on a transparent background, and I'll try and do the rest. Without further ado, I did say I'd do some racing. I wasn't lying. It's been worth the wait, I hope. What I want to do now is just give you a little bit of a taste. Just a little teeny tiny taste of what I'm capable of. So what we are going to do, we are going to pick the wonderful Nürburgring Green Hell, the Nordschleife, and I'm going to attack the Nordschleife. In fact, to tell you what I'm going to do, I've changed my mind. I'm still going to do the Nordschleife, but let's raise it up a notch. Let's take this another step higher. Right, let's get my good friend involved in this, Mr. Lewis Hamilton. I say good friend. He's never met me. He doesn't know we're friends yet, but he's actually my friend. Yeah. So if you was watching earlier in the week, you'll have seen that I actually humiliated Mr. Hamilton by beating him at Monza while slagging him off around the lap. That was one thing. What I actually want to do is I'm going to have a shot at him around the Nürburgring. I know he's going to win. My best lap here, I've managed a 1:41, but the lap wasn't allowed. It was disqualified for corner cutting, and it wasn't really corner cutting. It was just Gran Turismo being a bit strict. But what I'm going to do, yes, we're going to go in the Group C Sauber Mercedes C9 from 1989, and we're going to do a lap of the Nürburgring against Lewis Hamilton, and let's see who comes out on top. It's not a big surprise he'll win, but let's see how close I can come. Let's see if I can really, really kick his ass. There's a high chance that I'm going to run off the track if I try too hard here. So I'm gonna go easy on him. I'm gonna go easy on him because there's no shame if I lose, but I can crash pretty hard into the barriers if I'm trying to. So let's give it a go. I'm gonna drive with traction control on, just because I don't want to make a fool of myself. Brake bias. Yeah. So there's Lewis. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually restart because I know that I can actually keep up with him for the first few corners. A bit of a bug in this game though, you'll realise as I reach the first corner it's going to lag. Oh, it didn't, okay. Usually the first corner there's a bit of a bug. Okay, this is it. Okay, I knew this would happen. Although I know why. It's just I need to just slightly adjust my pedals. slight levels, but I'll live with it. So he's got a second on me so far. I told you he'd beat me. Although you're welcome to come and try and do better than me. You know, I welcome all challenges. Got a slightly better exit than Lewis down there. Bear in mind he's not got traction control and I have, so that's probably why. The screen lagged. There was just a tiny bit of lag. I'm going to try again. This is not how I wanted it to go. There's a bit of a problem here that between sectors, Gran Turismo does sometimes do this. It usually does it at this first corner. It's not been doing it though, so I can't complain too much. It's actually been alright for the first corner. Usually it just has a massive spike in like frame rate. Can't quite take this flat, just slightly, back on the power, hit that apex. The next corner's flat out, it's left-hander, but you have to be very quick on the brakes. Looking somewhere before the end of the curve. There. This next one, you want to just lift as you just take the crest. So just slight braking, take that curve, and then you just sort of roll it round. And I've only lost a further half a second to him through that sector. That was a better sector. So this is where it lagged last time. It's not done it this time. That's lag as in frame rate, not as in turbos. Just going to put a bit more rear bias on the brakes. Slightly wide, I needed to be a tiny bit earlier on the brakes. I was being very ambitious there. I am going 0 or 0 on this lap. I'm not just here to mess around, you know. It's not going to be my best lap. I've lost 5 seconds already. This is going to not even be a golden lap, I don't think. Lost too much time already. Let's see. Coming up to the carousel, the world famous carousel. The breaking point here is the shadow of the tree. There. wide there. Let's see if we can keep Lewis behind me. So his goat's been reset because I was sat that far behind him. He's coming for me. He's in my mirrors. I'm gonna have to hide him because he gets in the way there. He's not got far away from me. I'm not very good at this corner. This is my least favourite. So yeah, he gained a bit through that last corner there. It's not the tiniest lap I've ever done, but actually I want to check something with the wheel after this. So I've had the wheel in storage for a few days, and I'm not looking for an excuse or anything, but it definitely doesn't feel as rigid as I want it. I actually gained on Lewis in the final sector there, and I knew it'd be a silver.
Get there. Just keep pushing.
Oh, Lewis is telling me I'll get there, just keep pushing, yeah. I'll give it another go. Let's just see if we can knock a few seconds off. What I want to just check is my steering settings. Force feedback. I don't know what the default is, but I think it needed to be on 5. I'm in front. And I know that my brake bias is set to the rear. That was a mistake on my last lap. I had it set to the front by mistake. So I lost a ton of time there. But there's Lewis. So I am closer to him. Looks like I'm gaining on him. I am gaining on him very slightly. Gaining more. He's pulling away now though. This time I'm giving him a run for his money. That is literally where he is. He's not being reset or anything. That is where he is. This is a much better lap. Faster than me. Well, come on, it's freaking Lewis Hamilton. What do you expect? Definitely got an advantage over me in that sector. Now he's been reset. That's how much time you lose if you don't get into the bowl. Whoa, nearly on the grass. Found a shortcut there. Big crash. Really big crash. Damn it. Oh well. It was going alright then as well. I was just trying to stick it around there in a high gear. But my best is 44.6, which so as you can see that's it's exactly 4 seconds slower than Hamilton. So I wasn't on for my record pace there because I was already 5 behind when I crashed. Didn't feel as strong as my record run. I'll tell you what I will do though. I will do a quick blast around Monza. Let's see if we can actually beat him around Monza. I should be able to. This is the sort of car that I will be racing in the GT series. Maybe not a Mercedes, not decided yet. As I said, I've got to test every car, find out which one I'm best with. But we'll give it a go. This will be interesting, trying to do this live. It didn't actually take me that many attempts to beat him when I wasn't doing it live. It wasn't like I recorded 100 laps and just showed you one. It took me probably, I think, 10 laps to beat him. And then after that, I was pretty comfortable beating him. Pretty repeatable. Can't say for sure that I will beat him this time. Just on my first lap. Because I've got to just get myself back into the car again. Yeah, so I've missed my braking point. So I'm just going to restart that lap. It does take a few attempts to try and find your braking point. And when you're braking from 200 miles an hour, it's not something that you can just go straight to. I know roughly where the braking point is here, but roughly means nothing. So it's basically where the line is across the track there. And so he's gained a bit of time on me actually out of here. So I don't think it's going to be this lap because he's pretty quick over the rest of the lap. Yeah, it's not going to be this lap, but I'm just going to use the rest of the lap as practice. So I've gained a 10th on him out of that corner, out of the second Lesmo. Now the trick is this corner, Ascari. This is where it's difficult. Lost a tiny bit to him, and I'll just practice the final turn as well whilst I'm here. Just check the messages, what's going on. Probably shouldn't check my messages whilst driving, that's how you crash. To be honest, it still does feel like my steering wheel's a bit light. Not quite sure why. It feels very...
How did you do that?
Very flobbery. Flobberiness actually is an advantage in some of these corners though. I can't complain too much. If the steering wheel's going to be light, it actually helps you get the lock on some corners. So, slightly quicker there. I'm still about 2/10 off my best through there. I've locked the rears. I knew there. I could feel the rears locking. That's better. That's got him. There you go. So as I was proclaiming last time, bye-bye Lewis, bye-bye. It's not over yet though. I've locked the rears again. You see, it's not over till it's over. But what I'm doing, it may look like I just keep running too deep, but I'm just shaving 5 or 10 metres off the braking zone each time in my head. So that time, I didn't miss it by as much as the time before. I'm a bit later on the brakes this time, but I've done alright. Not quite as good as the time before, but I am up on Lewis. This is where Lewis does something stupid. He runs wide there. You want to keep it to the inside. So I lost a huge amount of time there. And also there. So now I think I know, though. Now I think I know what I need to be doing into the second chicane. I actually don't know what the name of the second chicane is. I know Ascari, I know Curva Grande, the Lesmos. That does pretty much confirm that there's something not quite right with the force feedback on the wheel. I'll look at it after the video though, I can live with it. Between the chicanes when I hit the curb, You should have seen my wheel do this and it didn't. And the result of that was then that I overcorrected it. So I lost a bit of time between the apexes there, but I got a much cleaner exit than Lewis did. So we're about neck and neck. Nah, locked the rears again. I'm going to try a bit of front bias. Actually no, rear bias, front bias. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to brake earlier so I don't lock the rears. That was an awful exit. I ran slightly onto the dirt. I'm going to keep going, so I just want to practice this next corner. I'm not getting it quite as nice as I have done in the past. Now, I missed that second apex there. You want to put a wheel on the inside of it, really. I didn't take 100 attempts to beat him. This isn't going to work. That's really bad. Yeah, I knew I was going to get a penalty for that. You're not allowed to take that first curve for some reason. You're allowed to take it on the second chicane, but not on the first. Which is strange. The laws of track limits in Gran Turismo. That was because I braked too early that time. So that's a better exit. It's not the best I've done, but I'm ahead. So Lewis got a cleaner exit than me. So really, to beat Lewis round here, I do need to be probably 1.5 tenths up in the first sector, because he's very hard to beat around the rest of the lap. That's better. That's much better. There we go. So nearly 2 tenths up. This will be the lap. He's coming back! He's coming back! Ah! That was such a silly mistake. We're going to go into Ascari level. We're going to go into Ascari side by side. Well, not side by side because that would be really slow for him, but... He's got me through Ascari. And I'm not going to have him in the final corner, but this is much closer. This is more like it. This is what I can do. So he goes really wide through there. I prefer the narrower line because it's shorter to the line. Okay, we're almost there. I think I can get it.
How did you do that?
Right, let's go for it. I know what I did differently. So each lap I may look like I've been basically running off the track and making an arse of myself, but I've actually been sort of taking notes mentally. Dark patch. On the curb. Up through the gears. Not as good as my last attempt, but still alright. That's me, not him. Wasn't quite as good on the throttle this time. Couldn't get on the throttle early enough there either, so it's not been as good. But this time I am gaining on him down the straight here. So I just need to put the 2 laps together. Oversteer there on that second curb, because that was a fairly sweet run through Ascari until that point. I'm going to keep going. As you can see, top right corner there, my record is 2/10 faster than Lewis. Got a snap of oversteer. You see that mid corner? It's never good turning left into a right hand corner, but that is what oversteer is. That's me in front. That's my best in front. Much closer. No, I've done it again. I've done it again. I'm trusting the car too much. But I'm really honing in on it now. So you see now that every first sector I'm up on Lewis time and time again now. awful. That was way too deep. I just didn't get the car just didn't want to rotate. Actually, I've just thought of something though. I wonder if I'm putting too much brake pressure. I wonder if I need to put a tiny bit of rear bias. That's a bit dirty. I've paid for that on the exit. It's too tight on the second apex. So I know what I'm doing wrong. This is probably where I need to improve is consistency, because like I'll brake where I think is the same place every lap, but it's actually not. You see, that time, in my mind, I didn't do anything differently from last time. Right, I'm going to try just 1 bar of rear bias. Cop. 2 bars of rear bias. And braking earlier. So my reference point for that corner is that little patch of dirt on the right hand side, this little path. I maybe need to just slightly come forwards from that. Try 2, bias at 2, which is what I'd normally run in this final sector actually, the final few corners. Yeah, okay. It's not the cleanest that I've taken the exit there. Lewis is there. Lewis is a better driver for Ascari, at least that time he was. That is probably the corner where he's taking the most time out of me though. That's why I say I need to have like a 2/10 lead on him in the first sector. If I can have 2/10 on him by the exit of the second Lesmo, then I reckon I can beat him. That was a much better exit. I felt that I connected with that curve a lot better. So we're going 2 rearwards. This time I braked slightly earlier than I have been doing, so it's just there. I just got a bad exit, to be honest. Having a nervous look at the time actually, it's getting on a bit. Yeah, I am now on what, like 20 or something like that. It wasn't this hard to beat last time. I didn't just get lucky because I beat him a couple of laps in a row when I finally figured out what I needed to do. That was really bad. Yeah. traffic track limits. So I was being a bit quieter that lap. Just I think the other thing is probably I'm just trying to talk. Let's give it a go. Silence. Well, silence certainly works. That's a stonking first sector. This is it, in front of it. I've lost it. That was a terrible Ascari. I just missed my braking point ever so slightly, and I knew it as I did it, and then I was too much on the curb. You're like too much on the curb like that, yeah, you're really flying in this first sector now. Smallest of leads going into Ascari. Oh, I think I'm gonna have to call it quits after this. That's about as much as I've got in the tank. Yeah, I'm going to call it quits, but that, my friends, is close.
No way. How did you do that?
Exactly, Lewis. How did I do that? That's what you said. Yeah, not far off. Not far off. Puts in perspective how neat my my best lap would have been. Shame it wasn't on video. Right. Anyway, I didn't really have much of an objective other than to announce my news earlier. So, what comes next is lots of pre-season testing, lots of prattling around with different cars. Maybe one of these cars that you're about to see on screen, you never know. Who knows what I'm going to take. But, yes, as you can see from that run-up Monza there, how much difference practice makes. The way that I was driving at the start, the way that I was driving at the end. Big difference. So that's why you need to keep practicing. And I'm also going to shut my mouth a lot more when I'm driving, because as you saw, I was quiet at the end there and I was just doing better times. So yeah, that's all for this one. See you in the next one. The next one will be, by the way, Willow Springs, my least favourite track. It's probably going to be in my least favourite car. I know, it's going to be in a TT Cup. That seems to be the quickest car around there. I quite like that car. But yes, it's going to be this track. So that'll be either tomorrow or Wednesday. So we'll see. Until then, thanks for joining. Like, subscribe, and sponsor me. See you later.